Here is what I want to say about emotional neglect as betrayal. Your parents were supposed to see you. Not perfectly, people are human, they have limits, they have their own stuff, but consistently enough that you built the felt sense that your inner world was visible and welcome. When that didn't happen, when the attunement was consistently absent, something wasn't given that was supposed to be given. That is the betrayal. It might not have been intentional, but your nervous system still registered the absence. Your child self still adapted to the deficit that should never have been there. So you definitely don't need a dramatic childhood to carry a wound. Sometimes the quietest absences leave the deepest marks. What does all of this actually look like then when you're living it? Because betrayal trauma and emotional neglect don't stay in the past, they travel with you. They show up in how you move through the world, in patterns that can feel much more like who you are, and you stop questioning them. But they are not your personality, they're just adaptations. The first one is hypervigilance. After betrayal, your threat detection system recalibrates upwards and it doesn't come back down. You become so incredibly attuned to potential danger, reading rooms, reading faces, clocking micro shifts in someone's tone, a pause that's a bit too long, an energy that's changed without explanation. You become so good at sensing what's coming before it arrives. The problem is the scanning doesn't know when to switch off. It runs in every room, with every person, even people who are completely safe, burning through your energy constantly, making proper rest almost impossible. Then there is the fawn response. Most people know fight, flight, and freeze. Fawn is the fourth one, and is the one that betrayal and emotional neglect specialize in producing. Fawning is the impulse to appease, to make yourself as unthreatening, agreeable, and useful as possible to whoever might be a threat, to manage their emotional states before you have even checked in with your own, to become so tuned to what other people need that your own inner experience basically disappears from your awareness entirely. People who fawn are the one everyone calls selfless, easygoing, easy to be around, and some of them it's genuinely them, but underneath it's often someone who have learned very young that their safety lived in the emotional state of the people around them, who learn to put themselves last, not out of generosity, but out of survival. There is also a self-betrayal pattern that develops in the wake of being betrayed by someone else. A lot of people start overriding their own instincts, minimizing what happened to them, making themselves smaller, excusing what really shouldn't be excused. They find themselves silencing gut feelings they know are right, apologizing for having needs at all, preemptively shrinking themselves so other people don't have to deal with them. And relatedly, people with betrayal wounds often explain themselves compulsively, not to inform, to defend. There is this constant need to justify, to contextualize, to build a case for what they think and feel, as if their inner experience requires evidence before it's allowed to exist. That comes directly from having had their reality contested so many times. They have learned that their perception isn't safe without proof. And then there is the hardest one to see in yourself: unconscious repetition. The nervous system doesn't seek what's good for you, it seeks what's familiar. After betrayal and neglect, the relational pattern keeps pulling people towards dynamic they recognize, even when what they recognize is emotional unavailability, unpredictability, or harm. Not because we're self destructive, but because the familiar at least feels survivable. The genuinely different thing, the actually safe person, the consistently available relationship can feel so foreign it registers as wrong somehow. So, at some point, the work becomes learning to sit with the distortion of something that's actually good. Relationships are where all of this becomes more visible and most painful on a day-to-day basis, because the wound is relational, it shows up most loudly in relation to other people. The first thing that shifts is trust itself. Before betrayal, trust was something you extended fairly naturally, not perfectly, but without the level of vigilance that comes after. After, The very signals that used to mean safety can start to feel suspicious. Someone being warm, consistent, caring, apparently trustworthy. Those things can now actually increase anxiety because the last time all of these signals were present, it costed you a great deal of pain. Your brain updated that model. Warm might be a setup. Consistency might be a performance. And the more safe someone is, the more they accidentally trigger the expectation of a betrayal that hasn't even happened yet. You're just waiting for it to happen. What that creates is this split, a deep hunger for closeness and the deep terror of it at the same time. You want to be known, you want someone who actually sees you, and the moment someone gets close enough to offer that, something in you contracts, finds reason it cannot work, pulls back or pushes away, or actively clings because the anxiety of potential loss become louder than the actual connection you're in. Neither of these is irrational. Both of them are your nervous system trying to protect you, just with opposite strategies. Something that surprises people is how hard it becomes to receive care. Compliments, love, help, support, someone's just showing up for you, all of it. Because receiving means allowing someone to see that you need something, that their presence actually matters to you. And that specific vulnerability, needing someone, having someone matter, it's exactly the position the wound was created in. So the reflex is to deflect, give back, redirect, give lavishly, accept minimally. From the outside, it looks like generosity, but it's actually an armor. And then there is what gets repeated, the relational templates that formed in early life, what connection feels like, what to expect from people, what the rhythms of closeness looks like. Those become the nervous system's reference point, and it keeps seeking what it recognizes, even when what it recognizes hurts. People find themselves drawn to emotional unavailability again and again, not because they don't deserve better, but because available, consistent, safe love can feel really strange, disorienting in a way that the nervous system reads it as wrong rather than just unfamiliar. Learning to receive love that is simply and straightforwardly good. No drama, no working for it, no waiting for the other shoe. It's something a lot of people with these wounds have to learn almost from scratch. It's one of the most underknowledged parts of the whole healing journey.